45, huh? Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized.
What's going on, everybody? This is I Ain't Got Beef. Man, today is an exciting video to talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta, the MGS3 remake, which I feel like we've been waiting for forever, even though it was only announced in March of 2023. But I digress. It has been 23 years since the original release of MGS3. So not only are we getting old, we're becoming super unks out here, because this was my childhood game. This and MGS2 were some of like the most played games I had. I played the games until the disc didn't work type of shit. Like, I knew everything about them as a child. Probably should have been playing Metal Gear, but, you know, here we are. We're alive. You know, we're not a psychopath. Let's just start off with everything, shall we? Because this is not really a review. This is more so just talking about the game from my perspective here on my channel. And one of the first things I want to talk about is like how true to form this remake is. It pretty much is the original game, just with a new coat of paint. Like your old beater, you took it to the shop and now it looks nice and pretty. That's kind of what I would say about MGS3. And I know it's not an old beater, but in the eyes of the modern, gaming scene, I would say it's kind of hard to look at some of these older games and their control schemes and whatnot. But for me, I'm an old head, so I don't really care about those things. It's more so control scheme. I think the modern controls are just easier and just more simple to pick up and play. And so that's what they've done here with MGS3. They've made it a little bit more streamlined. You can still turn on the option for the classic controls, but to be honest, I turned it on and then turned it right back off because I was like, oh, okay, I like the new style of MGS, towards like MGS 5 kind of deal here. And so that's what this game does very well is if you want to play the OG 2004 Snake Eater, that is a possibility as far as control-wise. But my experience was made so much better using the modern controls. I mean, that's just me. And also the modernized camera. I know some people are also play with the legacy camera, and that's just not for me either. I thought it would be, but I just can't do it. I like the way that, once again, the modern look is going. But besides that, this is MGS3, the original one, down to the classic old Easter eggs, leaving your console on, changing the date. If you know, you know. It's all of that. And in fact, it's so much of that there are expired Easter eggs. And if you know, you know. It's just crazy how, like, truthful this remake is. And a lot of people, when they hear remake, they think of, like, the Resident Evil 2, 3, 4 situation. But this is not that. That's a completely changing, the way the game's played, the way that they functioned, etc. This is very honest to the source, and I respect that because I didn't want them to go in and completely revamp everything. I just expected the modern controls and graphics and a better control scheme, and it's done all of that. Details, all the characters look very, very good, very detailed. You can see the stitching in their gloves and in their articles of clothing. The skins are amazing for Snake, especially the DLC ones. They all look great. It's just exciting. Like all of this stuff is just exciting as a Metal Gear fan. And we're finally getting, it's obviously not a new entry, but it's something new to play as a remake. And it just feels good to have, a Metal Gear Solid title release and buying it in the current day. Even though Kojima's not attached, I still love MGS3. I'm not a fan of Konami, don't get it twisted, but I did shell out the money for the game. So, hey, it is what it is. I love MGS3. I'm a sucker for it. And so here we are. One more thing I wanted to touch on, though, is people talking about the performance issues. I'm over here playing on the Xbox Series X, and to be very, very honest, I haven't had a single issue, frame drop, stutter, crash, glitch, you name it. It hasn't happened on my run through, and I'm not saying that it hasn't happened to other people, but I have to be honest and say that none of that has happened on mine, and it's been running like butter since I have been playing it. I got it early release, so I was playing it on the 26th over here on the East Coast. So, yeah, I haven't had one single issue, and to those that have had issues, I'm sorry, it does suck when you go in, especially a remake to a 23-year-old game. You want to just jump right in and everything should be running up to code, up to par for the modern console and generation, but that's not the case here. It's a very mixed bag. Some people are saying performance issues are mainly targeting the PS5. People say PC is also struggling a lot. The Series S is one, even the Series X. And even though in my personal experience, I have not seen that, obviously you have to acknowledge it and say that it is very, very, very unacceptable to remake such an old game and for anybody to have a single issue. Everybody should be able to boot this game up and play it literally out the box, off your console, downloaded, and there be no issue. So very disappointing that Konami still is doing lazy shit. Obviously with the Metal Gear collections, that was a whole story within itself. It was just very lazy, thrown together, like, here, buy it, take it, Kojima's gone, yada, yada. Same thing with Metal Gear 5 Definitive Edition. So Konami has a track record of really fucking up. It's just too bad that Kojima's name was attached to Konami. I wish he already had his, the Kojima production studio way back when. And who knows, the remake of Metal Gear would be crazy if Kojima had his hands on it. But alas, he doesn't, and that's sad. But all in all, they're very respectful to the original story. They don't change anything at all. Unlike some of the Resident Evil remakes and remasters they do. But that's all I got for you guys. It's been I Ain't Got Beef. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the Metal Gear games.
And this magnificent Metal Gear will mark a revolutionary step forward in weapons development.
Metal Gear.